couple layers, there should be a layer called C10, and if you freeze it, you won't see the surface. Right? So I'm going to thaw it just to show you. There's the surface. I'm looking at it in the X reference, okay? But I can't use what I'm looking at to create the profile. I have to create that shortcut. So this is a view of the surface. I don't want to see it. What I want to do is create the shortcut. I want to actually connect to the database. So if I change this, watch, I'm going to show you. I'm going to change the display to standard. That's what the shortcut surface looks like. That's the one I'm using to create the existing ground profile. Okay? I'm going to go back to my layer control. Watch, you're going to see two of them at the same time. If I go to 10 and I thaw it, okay, this is a view of the surface through the X reference function. This is the style of the shortcut version of that surface. So there's actually two things here, right? If I go to erase, there's two items. Right? Don't erase anything. See how there's two things? This is the X reference. Right, the external file. I can't use that to cut profiles, so I don't want to see it. So I go to my layer control, I find out which layer it's on, and I freeze it. I don't need to see it, but I do need a version of it. I need the database connection to it. Right? So what you were looking at is what the contours in the other file looks like as an X reference, and now you're seeing a surface style with just triangles connected to that database. They're two very different things. If this doesn't exist, right, if I delete this, I can't delete it because I'm using it, but if I was to delete this, if there's no surface here, then that profile really has no brains. This doesn't exist. It doesn't really do anything. Okay, so I have to create this shortcut. I have to have this surface shortcut. It's not enough to see it in the other file. You have to connect to it. So X reference allows you to see stuff. Shortcutting and referencing the surface allows you to use it. Okay? Does that answer your question? So if you look at the profile, Raymond, if you look at the profile view, so if you click on the view, and you right click and you go to profile properties, under the style, profile view style, you'll see under graph, the horizontal alignment is 500. That comes from the drawing right down here. So it actually picks up. If I change this, this will automatically change right from the drawing. And then I've vertically exaggerated it 5 times. So 5 times 500 is actually a scale of 1 to 100. Right? So it's 5 times. So if you measure here, the distance from, if you measure a distance from 158 to 159, that represents a meter. That's actually 5 times. It's multiplied 5 times. Okay, I can change it, right? Don't do this. I can change it. I can change the style, right? Just so you know, instead of 5, I can make it 10 times bigger. Watch, it's going to get twice as big. I've stretched it 10 times. Okay? It's redrawing everything. That's the beauty of the database. I haven't changed the data. I'm just changing how I see it. If I don't want to do a vertical exaggeration, if I want a 1 to 1, I can go back to style and I can change this to 1. And now there's no vertical exaggeration. 1 meter is 1 meter. Right? And that's what the actual cross-section of the road looks like. So now the distance between what's labeled as a meter is exactly 1 meter. Okay? But it's hard to see, right? It's hard to see, so we always stretch it in the Y direction. So we change the style. Don't change any of this, right? This is automatically set to 5. Just leave it. That's 5 times exaggerated. It's easier to see what the road looks like. Because it's so long compared to how what the vertical range is. So we stretch the vertical. It's just a drafting technique. Some standards require that you do a 5 times exaggeration. That's Richmond Hill. Some municipalities, Mississauga, they want you to do 10 times. So you can change your style to show the graph of existing ground or the design profile at whatever vertical scale you want. All right. For now, just accept the defaults. Right? I'm going to teach you this semester everything you need to know, but I'm not going to teach you everything I know. It's impossible, right? So I'll try and give you additional information when you ask questions, but it's not really necessary for the course. I'm talking to you from 25 years experience, and we only have 48 hours worth of class time to teach you some So I don't mind teaching these little extras, but they're not really requirements of the assignment of the course. Okay, so it's not that I don't want to answer the questions, but you need to walk before you can run. So continue to ask the questions. I will demonstrate some stuff, but they really are beyond the scope of what I'm trying to get to. Right? I'm trying to set you up for the minimum requirements for a subdivision you're going to design next semester. So these are the basic skills. But you're not going to learn everything you need to know. That happens with time. Any other questions? Okay, so try and follow the document in order as much as possible. Right? I hope you've all created the base DWG from the metric template, okay? And inserted the site plan and deleted the ones that weren't assigned to you, right? So if you weren't here last day, go to Gradebook and find out which site later you were assigned. This is the AutoCAD design part. Lay this stuff out. There's some colors and line types here. These ones, remember, come from the Topo X reference. So you'll see a prefix with the file name, Topo 543 or 543 Topo. They're gray. And then this is really what today's discussion was about, right? Create the centerline alignment. Make sure the labels are showing. Create the shortcut. Bring that surface in for use, right? You can't draw the profile without referencing the surface. Draw the profile of the existing surface along the alignment, and then look at the styles. So yours should look a lot like what I have here, right? This is ultimately the look, right? What's going to change? Well, everybody's going to have different geometry, right? Some of your existing ground is going to come down like this. Some of it's going to come across like this. Some of you are going to have this. It's going to be up here, right? So it depends on which part of the surface you're getting a profile from. Okay? But it should look like this, right? This gray view with all the horizontal and vertical axis done and the styles that you see here, right? So at a glance, that's what yours should look like. The shape of the existing ground is going to vary from student to student. The elevation range is going to change from student to student, obviously, but at a glance, it should look like that. Oops. Any other questions? Okay. So you can see how you can't do this assignment without the first assignment, right? You need that surface, and you need that surface to be modeled well, right? If this, you know, we're going to start our design right here at the edge of asphalt, right here. So if your surface is actually modeled wrong, right, if it's down here instead of up here, then your entire design is going to be affected by that, right? So the existing ground model must be modeled properly because you're going to use that information to do your profile design. And then once you've done your profile design, you're going to do your lot grading. Your proposed surface has to be compared to the existing surface. So the surface you just created in Module 1, you're going to use in Module 6. So it has to be right, and so on. So there's going to be a lot of dependency of current tasks on previous tasks. So my only advice to you, and I've said this to a few students already, is do your best to keep up. Whatever I demonstrate in class, you should try and complete those tasks before the next class. And I know we have, Tuesday, Wednesday classes, so it's hard to do work, overnight maybe when you're busy with other courses. I appreciate that. But at least on a week-to-week basis. So whatever I taught you this week, it should be done for next week. And whatever I teach next week, it should be done for the next week. Try and keep that pace, right? You might not be able to do it in class while I'm teaching it, but certainly you should be able to get it done before the next week, right? So whatever I teach Tuesday, Wednesday, have it ready for next Tuesday. And then you're at a pace where you just have to finish up and submit your drawings, okay? So I've taught you everything you need to complete assignment 2. So next week, certainly Tuesday, I'll entertain more questions in class, right? Because you'll ask better questions after you try a few things. So please get started. And then maybe Wednesday, depending on the time, I might actually start teaching for the next assignment, at least the profile design. Because there's a lot of engineering to teach outside of Civil 3D. We're going to do some stuff on paper and pencil. So next week, please bring your, have a calculator ready, and we're going to do some engineering theory. We're going to talk about the design. I'm going to explain to you what the profile should be and why. Okay? Then how you input it into Civil 3D, that's another discussion. That's really what I want you to do. but you have to understand the design a little bit so that you know what it is you're doing and why. Again, that's it for today, unless there are any final questions. If you haven't noticed, I did post my office hours. Let me just show that to you. If I go to my, if you go to faculty information, is it in here? I don't know. Can you access this? Let me just see how it looks for you. If you go into here, I put my office hours here, but it doesn't show up. I don't know why. Hang on a second. My office hours for this course is going to be the hour before class. So we start at 10:45 every day on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to be available for one-on-one meetings the hour before class. So if you want to mark your, I'm going to show you this. I've got it. This is my schedule. And I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to split my time between both courses I'm teaching. Can you see this Excel spreadsheet? Oops. Can you see my Excel spreadsheet? Okay. So we have class Tuesday and Wednesday, starting at 10:45. So I'm going to have office hours, one period before the start of each class. So if you want to meet with me, send me an email requesting that you want to meet, tell me which day, and then I'll send you a link to a private private chat. Okay, so that's the office hour. I'm reserving these two. We're supposed to have 4 office hours a week. I'm reserving these two for the students I teach in highways. So I'm busy Monday morning, and then I'm giving them an opportunity to meet with me after that. But for this class, the period before class starts. Is everybody available before our classes on Tuesday and Wednesday? Who has class before we start? Anybody? I just want to make sure, if you're all in a class at that time, then it's not a good time to schedule it. Right? So is everybody available, period 3 on Tuesday and Wednesday? Most of you, okay. So I imagine most of you have a similar schedule, so, okay. So again, send me an email, tell me you want to meet, and then I'll arrange for a time, right? I'll maybe a 10 or a 15-minute meeting where we can share screens and discuss what problems you might be having. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you Tuesday. Please try and keep up. Try and get as much of this assignment done before next week.